Assalamu alaikum. Now I'd like to talk about mediators of acute inflammation. In mediators of acute inflammation, suppose this is the blood vessel, this is neutrophil, and this is macrophage. If neutrophil comes out, this is acute inflammation. If macrophage comes out, this is chronic inflammation. So this is the basic high end point. You have to remember that in acute inflammation, the mediator comes first, that is neutrophil, and in chronic inflammation, macrophage comes. It is characterized by presence of edema and neutrophil in the tissue. In acute inflammation, it is characterized by presence of neutrophil and edema in tissue. And it arises in response of what? In response of infection. In response of infection and tissue necrosis. This is most important thing that we have already learned about. We have already learned about necrosis, and we know that necrosis follows acute inflammation. So acute inflammation happens in response to infection and in tissue necrosis. And in here, immediate response, as it comes first, and it is the first policeman in our body. When there is foreign body or an infection, the first policeman comes in the body to protect ourselves, that is neutrophil. So it comes early. It is not that packed with its soldiers. It's not that competent. So it has limited specificity. That is high end. And now I would like to talk about the mediators of inflammation. What are the mediators of inflammation? First of all, if you think about first mediator is TLR, also known as toll-like receptor. This is the toll-like receptor. It is present in innate immune system. It is present in innate immune system. It is present in all cells of the innate immune system. Example is macrophage and dendritic cell. Macrophage and dendritic cell. Macrophage and dendritic cell. And it is activated by, this is the high-end point, that TLR, toll-like receptor, is activated by a thing called PAM, pathogen-associated molecular pattern, that are commonly shared by microbes. And what does it do? That toll-like receptor, one of the toll-like receptor is known as CD14. What does CD14 does? CD14 on macrophage recognize the lipopolysaccharide, which is a PAM, lipopolysaccharide, on the outer membrane of the gram-negative bacteria, like Pseudomonas. Suppose in the Pseudomonas there is lipopolysaccharide, and in the body of the Pseudomonas, in the outer membrane of the Pseudomonas, there is PAM, that pathogen-associated molecular pattern. What does the toll-like receptor does? That in toll-like receptor, like one of the toll-like receptor, that CD14, which is present on the macrophage, it gets the signal, or it recognizes these pathogen-associated molecular pattern in the gram-negative bacteria, and it comes. And what does it do? This toll-like receptor activates. This toll-like receptor activation results in upregulation of the NF-kappa B. This toll-like receptor activation, this TLR receptor activation results in upregulation of NF-kappa B, a nuclear transcription factor that activates. This NF-kappa B activates immune response, leads to production of multiple immune mediators. It generates multiple immune mediators. And this toll-like receptor not only plays in the role in innate immunity, it also plays in the role of adaptive immunity. It also plays in the role of adaptive immunity, that is lymphocyte, and thus it causes or it plays an important role in chronic inflammation. So in toll-like receptor, what you have to remember, that toll-like receptor present in macrophage and dendritic cell, and one of the toll-like receptor is CD14. It recognizes the lipopolysaccharide, which is a pathogen associated molecular pattern present on the gram-negative bacterium, and it upregulates the NF-kappa B, and thus results in thus it activates immune response, leading to generation of multiple immune mediators. This toll-like receptor also plays in the role in the chronic inflammation. Then the second is arachidonic acid metabolites. The second mediator is arachidonic acid metabolites. This arachidonic, we know that from cell membrane phospholipid, we know that this cell membrane phospholipid, there is generation of arachidonic acid with the help of a phospholipase A2 enzyme. From cell membrane phospholipid, there is generation of arachidonic acid with the help of an enzyme called phospholipase A2. Then these arachidonic acid, with the help of cyclooxygenase and lipoxygenase pathway, it generates many high mediators. Via cyclooxygenase pathway, it generates prostaglandin D2, I2, E2. Prostaglandin D2, I2, E2, and prostaglandin D2, I2, and E2. This dye causes two things. It causes vasodilation, and increase of vascular permeability. It does two things, that it causes vasodilation and it increases vascular permeability. Vasodilation in what level? At the level of the capillaries, at the level of the arteriole. Vasodilation at the level of arteriole, and increased vascular permeability at the level of post capillary venules. These two things is higher. That this dye, that means prostaglandin D2, I2, E2, prostaglandin D2, I2, E2 causes vasodilation at the level of the arterioles and increased vascular permeability at the level of venules. And another thing, that prostaglandin E2 causes fever and E2 causes pain. E2 causes fever, E2 mediates pain. This is the thing comes in cyclooxygenase pathway. Now lipoxygenase pathway. In lipoxygenous pathway, there it produces in lipoxygenous pathway it produces leukotrienes. It produces leukotrienes. Lipoxygenous pathway it produces leukotrienes with the help of 5 lipoxygenous enzyme, 5' lipoxygenous enzyme. And we know that LTB4 attracts and activates neutrophil. LTB4 attracts and activates neutrophil. LTB4 attracts and activates neutrophils. And can you tell me other mediators which attract neutrophil? Other mediators are C5a, IL-8, and bacterial product. These are the 4 mediators, which is also known as chemotactic agent. These are LTB4, IL-8, C5a, and bacterial products. And LT, CD4, E4, C4, D4, E4 mediates vasoconstriction. It mediates vasoconstriction, bronchospasm, it mediates vasoconstriction, bronchospasm, and it increases vascular permeability. Increases vascular permeability. Now, mast cell. Another mediator is mast cell. Mast cell is activated by tissue trauma. Mast cell is activated by tissue trauma complement protein. Mast cell is activated by tissue trauma complement protein, that means C3a or C5a, tissue trauma complement protein. And third one is cross-linking of cell surface IgE by antigen. Cross-linking of cell surface IgE, cross-linking of cell surface IgE by antigen. Cross-linking of cell surface IgE by antigen. And immediate response involves release of histamine granules. Immediate response is release of histamine granule, which mediates vasodilatation and the level of arterioles and increased vascular permeability at the level of post capillary venules. Okay, and the delayed response is done by another arachidonic acid metabolite, which is known as leukotrienes. Delayed response is done by leukotrienes. And now I would like to discuss about complement pathway. In complement pathway, what happens? There are 3 complement pathway: classical pathway, alternative pathway. You can remember it by CAM: classical, alternative, and Mannose binding lactin pathway. Classical pathway, alternative pathway, Mannose binding lactin pathway. In classical pathway, there is G and M. That means GM makes classic curve. That means IgG and IgM. It binds IgG and IgM. That is bound to antigen. And in alternative pathway, there is a microbial products. In alternative pathway, there is microbial products. And in Mannose binding lactin, there is Mannose binding lactin binds to the mannose on microorganism and activates complement. And what does it do? It all the pathway results in production of C3 convertase. C3 convertase makes C5a and C5b. C5a goes for anaphylatoxin B. We know that C3a, 4a and 5a causes anaphyla toxins, and C5b goes in the pathway of a complement activation. C5b activates C6, 7, 8, 9. Ultimately, it activates MAC, that means membrane attack complex, and thus causing destruction of the cell. And we know that C3b acts as an opsonin. C3b acts as an opsonin. C3b acts as an opsonin, and C3a, 4a, 5a acts as an anaphylotoxin. That means it triggers muscle degranulation, and there thus release of histamine mediated vasodilation and increased vascular permeability. And MAC activation causes the pore formation, creating a hole in the cell membrane and destroys the cell. And another thing, that is Hageman factor. In Hageman factor,
Sorry, I didn't understand.
in Hageman factor, it plays an important role in de-icing. It plays an important role in Hageman factor plays an important role in de-icing. And when there is gram-negative sepsis, these gram-negative bacteria have the ability. When there is gram-negative sepsis, gram-negative bacteria have the ability to activate this Hageman factor, and activation of this Hageman factor leads to de-icing. Activation of this Hageman factor leads to de-icing, and it also makes the complement activation, complement pathway activation, and it also takes part in kinin system. We know that kinin cleaves high molecular weight kininogen. High molecular weight kininogen to kinin system makes high molecular weight kininogen to bradykinin, which mediates vasodilation and increased vascular permeability as well as pain. Vasodilation at the level of arterioles, vascular permeability at the level of post-capillary veins. And the last thing I want to discuss about, can you tell me which mediates pain? Prostaglandin E2 mediates pain and fever, and bradykinin causes pain. And this is all about acute inflammation and complement pathway. Inshallah, you will be benefited.